Hey students, it's Mr. Matthews and I'm in the studio today and we are going to be looking at what came in your pencil pack.
So when we look at our pencil set, we have these pencils on the left and they all have sort of writing. They say the name of the company and then they have this little weird thing at the bottom right here where it says like 4H or 4B or HB. And what do those mean? Well, very easily to tell you about it, it is the hardness of the lead inside of the pencil. And so a H means that it's hard, and then a 4 refers to how hard it is. A B means that it's soft and how soft it is. So the higher the number on the H's, the harder, the finer, the more of a sharp point you're going to get on your pencils. And you can see that right here already. And then a B, like the 6B over here, is going to be a softer lead, and the wider or the less sharp you're going to get of a pencil. And so you can use these by knowing which one it is to see, okay, I need a really soft line, or I need a really fine line. I'm doing some hair. You might be in the H area. Or I need to add some value to my drawing to make it a little bit dark for this contrast. You might be in the B area. And then you get different variations or gradients of that level of hardness within those. Your standard pencil is pretty much an HB pencil. HB, it's a little blend of the two. It's sort of the soft area. You can see it on these pencils. It says right here, here we go. Ooh, come on, camera. Focus. Focus. There it is. It says HB2. And so that pencil is right about here in the stream of things. It's right next to HB, but it's not a full H yet. All right, students, we got our sketchbook, and you have all the answers right here. We're going to turn to page 17, and there, what I want you to do is write pencil set, and then I want you to grab your ruler, and in your ruler, from this edge where the perforation is, I want you to measure to, 6 inches, and let's see, what is that? 6 and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So 8s. So 1, 2, 3. 3 eighths. So 6 inches and 3 eighths. And so that would be after the 6, that'd be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, the 6 mark right there. And then you're going to draw a line up. You have a line here, and then you're going to draw 2 lines. And then what it is, let's see which one it is right here. It's this big line right here, but let's count those. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4. So 3/4. So you're going to make a box every 3/4. And I just use my ruler to move it. So it's this big one right before the 1. And I just move my mark it. And then what we're going to do is grab our pencil set when we have this. And what we're going to do is just sort of put our pencil set right above it. And we're going to grab a pencil, so this 4H. And what I'm going to do is write 4H. And it should be sharp, it's ready to go. And I want you to keep the same pressure the whole time you do this. And so I'm just going to fill this in. I'm hatching right now. I'm trying to keep the same pressure. I might go back, and I just want to fill the whole thing in. Keeping the same pressure. So each pencil I pick up, I'm going to use the same pressure on. So I'm going to hold it the same and put down the same pressure. And so you don't need to press really hard. So that's 4H. I'm going to put my pencil set back, pencil in the set back. I'm going to get 2H. So I'll write 2H. And then the same pressure. Remember, I'm trying to keep the same pressure. And I'm going in the same direction so that you can all see what it looks like. I'm going to go back and fill it in. just holding lightly, but I'm adding the same pressure as I did with the 4H pencil. We're just creating a value scale. So that's 2H. Let's go to just an H here. So same pressure. And you should see that it's getting a little bit darker as I use the same pressure that I was doing on the other ones. It's starting to shift in that gradient. And then I'm gonna go for an HB. Oops, I forgot to write. Remember to write what it is above it. So this is just an H. Now I have the HB. B, right there. And then same pressure. If you're switching the pressure on your pencils, it's going to give you a skewed result. And like scientists, we need to have some constants. And so the constant is the pressure that we're putting on it, even though our pencils change. And you can start seeing that gradient shift right there. So put this HB back. I've titled it. Let's just go with a B now. B. Alright, so you see on our little cheat sheet here, I made some notes. H equals hardness, B equals the blackness or the softness of the lead, and if you get a pencil, like I just found this one, that says F, it means that it's a fine point. And so, what we're going to do, and the H would be, or the F would be somewhere right here, a really fine point pencil. It's just like a number 2. You see our gradient, you can see that we have 4H to 6B and how it changes depending on which pencil you use. This will be important for any drawing that you want to work on, and you want a darker effect, you know you need to be in the B section with your pencils. If you want something light or a fine line, you want to be in the upper area of the H section. If you want something in the middle tones, you want to be in the HB section without any numbers. And so those things will allow you to think of these pencils as tools and picking the right tool for the job. What I found was just a piece of tape, something circular, and I drew 3 little circles there. And I just want to show you what we can do with it. Let's say we're drawing a sphere. You can get different effects out of that. So if I was just like working in this H range, so a 4H is that really light one. If I was to use that for some hatching, I might say, oh, that's good. But then what I might do is grab this 2H for this bottom area. Of the H's, use this just standard H. We use this H now, which I just used to make the darkest area. I'm going to use that to create the light area on this one. So I have to go around this tripod here. So excuse my reach. So the light's coming from up there. I might use just the H for that. Put that one back, and I'm grabbing the HB, a little bit darker. And so I might create some of these cross-hatching marks. And I might use my B to make the really dark area right down here. Well, I'm gonna start with 2B, do my light one first, and I want the shadow to be over here, or the light to be over here. So just remember, just hatching. Then I'm gonna go 4B. And then to the 6B. Now we have 3 different spheres. They all have a light source on it. We have a really light one, we have a medium one, and we have a really dark one, depending on the gradient and how close you cross-hatched things. But you can sort of see how you can use these with different effects to get your drawing to come out and be a little bit more realistic depending on how you use it. The next step is erasers, and what I want you to do with erasers is you can trace 3 circles. If you don't have one of these, paper towel roll, toilet paper roll, you can find anything, a square, anything that's about like an inch wide. This is just something I had handy. Or you could draw boxes that are an inch by an inch. That probably work better. So I'm gonna fill these in with value. And so I'm gonna start with my 4H, and I'm gonna try to use the same pressure on each one, okay? I'm actually gonna hold my pencil a little bit more like this. And I'm just going to, so I'm not at the top of the pencil, but I'm at the back of the pencil. I'm just holding it, and I'm cradling it right here, and that's gonna help me lay down some value really quickly. And also, I can twist the pencil and twist again. And by twisting the pencil, I'm keeping the pencil sharp because I'm not just dulling down one side. I want an HB, got my HB, holding it back at the end. I'm twisting it while I shade. Now I'll get my 6B. We're just gonna see how these erasers do. So again, holding back here, and I'm holding it at an angle so that it's all lead on the side is touching the paper. And then I twist, keep it sharp. All right, so we have 3 circles, 3 values, and then we have 2 erasers. And so our first eraser is this plastic eraser. And we're gonna see how it's used. The way you normally use a plastic eraser is by dragging it across. So, dragging it across. I just want you to see, when you drag it across, I'm just using one motion here, how much you can actually get away and rid of with just this white eraser. I know we just put down all that value, but that is pretty darn good. White eraser, and you can see how much it can. I'm just gonna erase just half of it so you can see. And then for the HB, same thing, we're just dragging it across. This gets a little bit harder because it's a darker value, but look how much can just disappear with this one tool. If I was to do half of this, and sometimes it happens like this where it starts smudging, just turn, it's because you're rubbing this area and it's dark, and you can take your hand and wipe it clean. You just get rid of that, so you're no longer racing with a dark area, and you have a clean white area. Or you can rotate rotate your eraser. And I would do that often so you don't get those black smudges on your eraser. And when you do get it, you can just wipe it off. That way you're not smearing any of this stuff. And then just to clean it off, you can wipe it off with your hand. And you got a nice clean eraser for the next use. But you can get quite a bit of stuff off just going. You can go in circular motions, but it is meant to be dragged across to remove stuff. And you can use this tool for shading as well. Now we got this thing, and it's called a kneaded eraser. And it's a little bit different than this eraser altogether. What you're supposed to do with this eraser is pull it apart like taffy and sort of squeeze it together and squish it and pull it. And it's supposed to be kneaded. And so sometimes if you're stressed, these erasers are great for that, just because you can pull and stretch it and push it together and pull it out. So this is just some rubber here. It's just being stretched out. You can make it flat. It's a great eraser because what you can do with it, let's say you have something, a super detailed spot, like it's in the middle of an eye and you need to get there, but this thing is just way too bulky. What you can do is make a little point with this eraser and then go in and erase that area. So, kneaded eraser, let's get into it. With our 4H, some techniques with this is you're not rubbing it. What you can do is place it on there and then lift up, and it will remove some. And you can see how dirty it is. But to get rid of the dirt, all we do is pull it apart and mix it up. And then squeeze it back together. And so you can push down and lift up, and it'll take off a lot of value. You can, like I said, make sort of a cone shape and push, and it'll take some value off. Or you can use it ever so slightly to remove things, if you like. Or again, you can shape it. Let's say you just need a small area. You can shape it to the area you want. So let's say I want a line right here to show like a highlight or something. So I might shape it to the area I want and then press it down and then lift up. And you can get all this value off, and you can repeat that. Let's say I just use this other side, like a stamp, and I can pull that off too. And so this kneaded eraser allows you a little bit more versatility. The thing about it is you want to keep it away from, let's say, pencil shavings, so it doesn't get inside of your eraser or other plastic eraser shavings in there. You want to keep it sort of just for itself. So it's always handy to make sure your area is clean, and then you can use it over and over and over and over and over again. When you are done with it, I just like to put it back in my pencil set, and so I just try to form it sort of into a square and put it back in there, and my pencil set is set. We'll go over the charcoals when we do charcoals, but I want you to play around with this a little bit, see the values, see how different each pencil works, and understand them as tools, and they are tools for you to use to create drawings.